Yes, I'm live. Welcome everyone. Hello, good morning. Good morning. This is Maggie, your fearless marketing coach. Today is a very special day. Actually, I have planned for today the discussion with you or sharing from my side about intuition and about the self-talk. And to be honest, I needed to prepare myself, and I needed to prepare quite long notes, because I remember when I was learning about the intuition and especially the ego, called in a different word self-talk or headship. I learned it on the spiritual level, while you know that I am quite rational and scientific based. So for me, it was important that I can really explain how it all works on the scientific, on the biologic or chemical level. So I prepared some notes, and forgive me, I will be looking into these notes from time to time. But it is important for me to be maybe not as detailed as possible, but to give you this rational explanation, which you will see in the end, and I hope that I will manage to explain it to you, that everything is really connected. I mean, the rational and the spiritual worlds are really interconnected. So let's begin. I have started my understanding on the ego and on the intuition from like really understanding that dreams and fears are always interconnected, and they are so strongly related, with exactly the same power as our ego or self-talk with our intuition. They always are with us, and they guide they are sort of navigation system, and they always will be with us. Even if we learn how to harness our fears and how to use our intuition so that it guides us, they will be with us. And I think there is nothing to be scared of. They can really help us to navigate through the world, even the head shit and even the ego, the ego talk. I would like to start with the expression or with a learning that you might not be aware of that, but at least 90% of our activities and our interaction with the world is made on sort of autopilot. We are being, born in specific environment, in specific families, with specific parents who brings us up, imprinting emotions and behaviors in our minds and in our bodies. And then the educational system and the environment that we grow up adds up on that. So we end up being an adult at the age of 20 something, with a set of already imprinted, preconditioned emotions and behaviors. And the process, and this is really important. It was for me, it was crucial to understand this process. It was that when we interact with other people, what we see really is their behavior. And based by behavior, we judge, we evaluate this person, and we decide whether we would like to interact with this person or not. But the behavior is only the external presentation of the emotion that this particular person is feeling. The way emotions and feelings are really not expressed but felt by the person depends on two things. One, this is a chemical reaction in the brain, a chemical reaction in the body, actually. I mean, the brain gives a signal to release either the hormones related to pleasure, like serotonin or dopamine, or the brain decides that it has to release the stress hormones like cortisol or like adrenaline that is responsible for our fight or flight reflex. So in the course of our living, our brain decides to reject or release these particular chemicals in our body, and the sensation that we feel in the body are associated by us either with pleasure or with pain or with discomfort. And we basically we live through our lives with such a with such an equipment. This is how we judge the situation, the external world, by what is happening in our body. I mean, we face the particular situation and immediately, without even using our rational mind, we instinctively react to this situation. And either the brain decides, and the brain is making millions of decisions every day. Some of the decisions are related to our survival mechanisms or thriving, like thriving in business. And it happened that with this, preconditioned mind, we enter in the new situations, and we really react on autopilot, completely not consciously. And what is happening is that in many cases, we react without even thinking, without even blinking, and without even giving our conscious thought, to evaluate the situation. And what happens is that we really try, on the subconscious level, we try to avoid pain and to bring the pleasure in our life. So we judge everyday situations based on the fact that we evaluate whether it will bring us pleasure or whether it will bring us pain. If the pain is on the table, on the horizon, then the self-talk begins, really. Sometimes if the pleasure is there, yes, but more frequently if we anticipate that something may happen to us, really, or actually this is when our ego enters on the scene and tries to hold us back. You remember I was telling you that evolutionary, our brains are prepared to slow us down from any brave decision, and even more from any brave actions. So the ego starts talking to us in a way that we really withdraw and we drop this brilliant idea that we had. Ego could be a sneaky little, lizard that either will start to scare you, simply that something dangerous can happen to you if you make this decision, or If it doesn't work, then it starts to implant into your head basically things related to the self value. Like nobody will listen, nobody will follow, people will not buy from you. It is not worth it. You are not worth it. And these things could really work. I mean, we have a tendency to believe in that. And again, many of these mechanisms are built in evolutionary by our brain, by evolution. Especially this is very, very typical for women because you may know that female brain and male brains are built differently um, in, uh, in some form of shape. I'm not going to share now all the details about this construction, but what is important for the self-talk, women have a specific department in the brain which is responsible for so-called rumination. And I'm sure that many of you, many of women, and especially female entrepreneurs, are familiar with that phenomenon. Well, strong, powerful, fantastic, amazing women, at some point, we lose the confidence and we lose the belief in ourselves and in the ability to do things and to be capable of doing things. And we start to question ourselves, question our ability, and look at the topic from several different angles, trying to convince ourselves that we are absolutely incapable of doing that. Um, and this mechanism is coming from really our ancestors when we were still, even at the caveman stage of development of humanity, when the tribe was separating and the men were given the mission to hunt. Actually, they took this mission on themselves because they were bigger and stronger. So men group was leaving the tribe, going on hunt, and women and babies were staying in the village or in the tribe. Then women were responsible for keeping this group safe. So what we were doing, we were basically looking. I mean, we put our antennas antennas on, searching and looking for potential danger. Whatever was coming to the tribe on the horizon, be it an animal or a different group of humans or humanoids, um, we were anxious about that. Um, Women were also responsible for collecting collecting the berries or collecting the mushrooms, not the meat food. They were responsible for making sure that there are no poisonous elements in that berries. So women were, basically looking. These are my hands, and they were looking very consciously whether there are any poisonous berries in there. So that's why we are more conscious and more. We have this rumination department in our brain because evolution implanted that in us. Obviously, what happens is that this element, this phenomenon, it really builds on additional stress and builds on additional anxiety. However, the evolution also gave us women another element, which is intuition. And the intuition, this is we have it always with us. We just right now, the contemporary world taught us to not to listen to the intuition anymore. So this voice is really, really very quiet. And if you want to listen to your intuition, you have to, first of all, find a time, find a mode, method to shut up your ego, send it away, and try to listen to the intuition. Intuition is always very quiet, very calm, very straightforward. And intuition sends you messages that tend to give you the shortcuts. These shortcuts are not always easy. Um, they require additional consumption of the energy, really, from the body. Because when you hear what your intuition is whispering to your ear, sometimes it is more scary than the initial thought. Um, and really, it is difficult to take a step and to take the action. However, what happens if you decide really to take this action and you align with your actions? So you go forward, you move forward, even though you are scared to death, you are sweating and you don't know what will be really your next step, but you follow the intuition guidance, then brilliant things are happening on the other side. Basically, you first of all, you are much stronger, you develop, you are reaching for more, and you are aligned with your energetic blueprint that gives you more power for the following steps. While the ego talk is always the self talk, the head shit. Some people call it head shit talk. um, it is always very loud. You hear it loud and very, it's very vivid, very vibrant. This sneaky little bastard is really, it doesn't whisper. It just say with a loud voice, with a full power, that you shouldn't do something, or you are not enough, you are not powerful to do specific things, and that people will not follow, people will not benefit from what you want to offer to them. So maybe one tactic to recognize between these two, which are always with us, is that intuition will be quiet and intuition will be very calm. Ego will be full of energy and it will be quite loud. It will do everything to stop you on your way. What else I can tell you is that intuition always, in the long run, if you follow it, it drags you to peace, to comfort, to feeling of being powerful. But the way is much longer. I mean, this is long run. Sometimes it could be a couple of days in a huge discomfort. Sometimes it could be a couple of weeks. Usually, if you decide to take a line action, not longer than a couple of weeks. But the ego is usually trying to drag you, from this. Even if you decide to follow your intuition, ego will always be interfering, and you need to learn how to either shut it down brutally, or how to hug it and love it and listen to it. In the beginning, I didn't know, how to listen to my ego, and I decided really to shut it down. So this is quite brutal method, but it is working also. And what I did, I simply said, fine. I mean, I hear you, I see you, but I'm going to follow my inner guidance and I'm going to do what I am believing is necessary at the moment because I am in charge. You are not in charge. My mind doesn't lead me. I am leading my mind. This is quite big awakening when you are actually in charge and you are the one who leads the whole system. You lead your mind, you lead your body, you lead your brain. So the brutal method works. What you can do, you can shut it down and you can send it to somewhere. I mean, I sent my ego to the beautiful island, and I tell it that it was working so hard recently, trying to take me from my actions, to move me from my actions, as to slow me down, that it must be deadly tired. So I hugged my ego. I took it first on the walk. Yeah, basically, like you walk the dog. I took it on the walk to the forest, and then I hugged it lovingly and said, it was everything happening in my mind. Huh? And I said, well, my beautiful, you need to rest. So I'm sending you on this amazing island with a beautiful beach. You will be resting on the beach. There is a hammock and the armchair and some soft drinks and some sodas. So you have fun while I will take charge of our living. And I released my ego from this vocation only after a couple of weeks, even a couple of months, if I recall correctly. And I tell you the truth, it was such a relief knowing that we are separated actually. It is having her own time, and I am in charge. Um, I needed to be stronger, to face it again, and to basically to incorporate into my system, my body again. Now we are living together, my intuition, my ego, my body and soul, and my energy. So it's fine. But a minute I hear the self-talk. First of all, I know that I can choose my thoughts. So if I hear the thoughts which are unhelpful and they are not building up my strength, I simply rub them nicely. I pack them and send it away. You know, I send it away back to the universe, and I choose another positive thoughts. I simply reformulate my thoughts from the negative to positive. Everything will be fine. Everything is supporting me. I am healthy, which is important these days. I am focused. I am creative. I am determined to reach for more. And I will be moving. I am already moving for my vision. So I think I would like to leave you with this thought for coming weekend. Positive thinking, positive energy enhances positive vibrations, and the positive vibrations build a positive energy pole around you. So you will be emanating this positive energy um, around towards people around you, towards the situations around you. And I think this is very important. This is important, especially now when most of the people and most of the media are spreading negative thoughts around the disease which is going through Europe currently. It has to pass, it will pass, and we all will survive this, so no worries about that. Positive thinking, positive vibration, positive energy. Bye, guys. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.